a father to the creative economy, has gone home. Mr. Awolowo was like a father to me. He was a mentor. He was truly an icon for the creative industry. And it was so important to me that this documentary was shot so that whoever stumbles on this video from wherever you are in the world would understand that he truly let his light shine in the creative industry. And I just want to take you back to the beginning. So, you might start by wondering, so what exactly is Bellafricana? Who are you? Bellafricana has stood firm in the creative industry as a tech-enabled community that supports and helps a lot of creative entrepreneurs in the fashion, beauty, and lifestyle industry. Many years ago, way back, 2014, I moved back to Nigeria. I schooled in the UK, moved back to Nigeria, and I didn't realize how much I was carrying and the dream that I had to make sure that a lot of creative people become more seen, more appreciated, and ultimately making sure that their creativity, their craftsmanship left the shores of Africa. In a long story short, let's go back to the basics. So how did I know Mr. Olusegun Awolowo and what did it mean to us? I can't even say that this was the beginning. That it all happened. I throw back to sometimes in 2015, I was out of the country. I was on holiday and a team member of mine had received a call from him. You know, like at the end of a day when they're giving the report. And the team member said, "Oh ma'am, some man called." I said, "Who?" He said his name was Mr. Olusegun Awolowo. I was like, wait, say that again. Like, say Mr. Olusegun, do you know who he spoke to? And so I asked that, okay, so why did he call? Guess what? Mr. Awolowo called asking how Bellafricana could partner with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. I was so shocked. I was in awe. But do you know the funny thing? At the time he called, I think this was like late, like August 2015. I didn't have an answer to that question. So fast forward a few months later, I had a vision and it was called the ACE Awards, which was an acronym for the African Creative Education Awards. And I remember vividly, so I was honored to have Mr. Awolowo's number because he called the team. So I saved his number and I was like, I don't want to miss this opportunity. Let me make sure that I have the right proposal ready. And so I went ahead and I called him. I was so excited. I was like, "Sir, we finally have, something that we can partner on. This is what it's about, the ACE Awards." He gave me his time. If you know Mr. Awolowo, you know that on the call, if you're not fast, it's like a 1 minute speech. If you're not fast with the call, it's like in a hurry, So the two major things he told me that day was like, "Booking, if you want to get through me, you either have to go through my PA or through my SA, so my personal assistant or my special advisor, my special assistant or executive assistant." And then I just quickly asked him, "Sir, what's the name of your executive assistant?" And he told me her name back then, Lola Jenny. Shout out to Lola. Honestly, I give my salute to you because you are also a part of the Bellafricana story. So I was like, "No problem, sir." And that's how that call ended. Guess what I did? I went and I Googled Lola, and I remember finding her on LinkedIn. And so I sent an epistle bear in mind that this was a very first major milestone for Bellafricana. It was going to be our first big event, and so I wanted to get it right, and I knew that we needed support, because all we had was the heart to support creative entrepreneurs, but we didn't have the know-how, we didn't have the finances, we didn't have the money, so we needed Nigerian Export Promotion Council to back us, right? So back to my gist. I went to find Lola on LinkedIn, and I sent her a very long epistle explaining why, what we're doing, how. Long story short, sent a proposal. Lola said, okay, you need to go ahead and send a proposal to the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. There were structures in place. Wrote a letter, posted it, and a few months later, we were called to come to Abuja. Now, let me tell you about the story of how Abuja went. This was the very first time that I was called to come to Abuja. But before then, guess what happened? Another major event happened in Lagos. It was LLF, Lagos Leather Fair. Shout out to Auntie Femi. I'm sure by now you know that I'm someone that's very big on relationships, so I don't play with my mentors like Mr. Olusegun Awolowo. And so I knew that Mr. Awolowo was going to be at LLF, and I'd never met him before. All we had exchanged was a call and an email. And so I was stalking him. I was like, if he's here, I will make sure that I meet with him. And I did. You know what happened when I met Mr. Awolowo? He was like, don't worry. So this is you. I was laughing. I was like, yes, so that's Mr. Small game of big God. And something amazing happened that day. Mr. Awolowo was like, okay, where are the Bellafricana members? Take me to their stand. Let's go. That's how I don't even know what to call it. Was it him honoring me or me honoring me? This is me with my husband. Shout out to my husband, Mr. Toby and Shane. We were together. And I just felt, my heart was just so excited, so happy to meet a mentor that I'd been talking to for the first time. Just thanks to God. And so we went to a number of members' stand. He was shopping. Like, they were happy to give him the products, but he was happy to pay for it. That just goes to show his heart. But one thing that I would not forget that happened that day, we stopped at one of our members, Bemi. Bemi had just won, she was nominated for an award in New York. And I just told Mr. Awolowo, just, hi sir, this is Bemi. She owns this brand called Oilclad, and she's been, nominated in New York for an award. And he was like, okay, Bemi, tell us, how much will it take to go to America? Let us know the bill. We will support you at the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Lo and behold, way back 2017, that's how NEPC sent 500,000 naira to Bemi on that flight. For a man that God knows doesn't know me from Adam, doesn't know my father, doesn't know my mother, he just took ownership of the brand and he absolutely loved what we're doing. So fast forward to us going to Abuja to his office for the first time. Mr. Awolowo has, if you've ever gone to his office, he has this book. Almost like anyone that comes into his office has to sign that book. I'm sure we'll show you somewhere on the screen. I'll show you the picture of me on that day where I got to meet Mr. Awolowo in Abuja. I got to meet Lola. So all of us and my husband and another team member of mine. And so we went to visit him at his office. It was like, Yabuki, you're here now. Come and sign in this book. So I felt so proud. I was like, yes, I'm officially endorsed. We signed this. And that's how that relationship began. Honestly, I'm basically enjoying this moment, documenting time spent with him. And it's just a whole lot. The first edition of Ace Awards happened in 2016. He couldn't be there physically, but they were our main sponsor. I remember that was the first million that I ever, got as a loop sum in Bellafricana's account. If I remember correctly, it was about 2.1 million or so that they paid for us to support the event. That in itself was what made it possible to hold our first edition of ACE Awards in 2016, April. And that year was like, for me, was the beginning of a big vision that I carried for Bellafricana, and I felt like I was just walking backwards. Even though Mr. Awolowo couldn't be there, he sent all the representatives. We had about 100 exhibitors. We had about 15 awardee beneficiaries. We had a whole conference. My late mentor, Prince Adeyemi Adefulu, was also there. All my mentors were there. Mr. Awolowo was supported through when he was the ED of the Nigerian Promotion Council. We were our main sponsor. And guess what? The first edition was done. That happened. They supported. 2017 was done. They came again. They supported. It was just seamless. It was such a beautiful relationship. It was like an adopted father to me. And not just to me, as an extension to every single creative in the industry. Now let's fast forward to 2020. Something amazing also happened. I'm sure we all know. Let's not go into the facts of what happened to the whole world where COVID hit us all. And it was time for us to innovate. So guess what? Bellafricana launched an online membership platform where we just really wanted to empower more and more creatives. At this time, thanks to the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, we had expanded to over 5,000 creatives in our industry in Bellafricana that we had supported, and we just kept doing more and more. By 2020, when everywhere was on lockdown, we sent another proposal to the NEPC to host something online that would touch creatives around the world. Again, NEPC was there for us. I remember that event was a 2-day event. We were able to reach over 1,000 creatives. We had so many expats, and honestly, I can't even give this video without mentioning a number of names like Mr. Paleke. Mr. Paleke was almost like an intermediary. Anything that I needed from Mr. Paleke was almost like, sir, how should I go about it? Almost like my strategist. He was always there for us. Dio, shout out to Dio. All the people in the NEPC office in Lagos, Atapapa, they were always there to support us to reach NEPC Abuja where Mr. Awolowo was. Anything that had to do with us impacting more and more creators, it was there for it. Now, let's fast forward to the 3rd edition of the Nigerian Export Promotion of the ACE Awards, right? The 3rd edition of the African Creative Exhibition and Awards. I had said that all this while, he hadn't been able to be there physically, and also not to go into politics, but that about this time also, his tenure at the NEPC had ended. It was to be renewed. Every time, at that time when we were to host the 3rd edition of the ACE Awards, that was happening. And I remember Mr. Awolowo was saying, "Look, just be patient. By God's grace, I will come back to being the ED of NEPC, and we'll be able to support in any and every way." And I remember doing something significant that year. As somebody who's very big on relationships, first of all, I love boundaries a lot. I don't like to push boundaries. I try to be respectful of all my mentors' boundaries. And I remember reaching Mr. Awolowo. All I just asked was, who should I reach? Who will be able to get my communication to you without me bothering you? And I remember at the time it was Mona. Shout out to Mona. As I just look back at these times, I just really think about the people that God really helped or used as divine helpers for us at Bellafricana. And when it was time for 2021 edition, we did an Instagram post, just celebrating Mr. Awolowo on our Instagram page. And I remember telling all the community members to go and just celebrate him, tag him, just say thank you on our behalf. And we just flooded that post, and it meant the world. It was almost like the community was saying, this is no longer about Bukasha and Lisa. This is about thousands of creatives who desire to be seen, who desire to see their products exported from Nigeria, who understand the impact that he is playing in that place. And also, that was when he launched the Zero Oil mandate, Zero Oil platform. There was something called the EAFP grant, and so many creative entrepreneurs wanted to be a part of it. That year, Mr. Awolowo made sure that he was there live and direct. He didn't just send anyone. Mr. Farike, most of the people in his department came along, but he ensured that he showed up. And we were also ready. I remember at the time, I didn't even know what to expect. I was just like going with a leap of faith. We had prepared a video just celebrating the man that he was, and the man and the impact that he had made in Bellafricana and through Bellafricana, what that impact had translated into the economy. And so we already had an award ready for it. And I remember when they were to call him out, I was just crying. I didn't even have the words. Because at that edition, my mom was there, my dad was there. And I was about to honor Mr. Awolowo, who was like a father to me. And I remember us playing that video, and after that video, he came out to give his speech.
Some of the wonderful work Bellafricana has done for us in sorting them out, identifying them. So they are all going to qualify for the Export Development Fund.
Thank you very much.
And at the end of the speech, right there and there, he was like, every single award nominee or every single beneficiary of this edition's award will be supported with a sum of, I didn't even call it out there, I can't even remember anymore, but that they will be supported with grants, grant funding to help their businesses, right? And in that same vein, he also appointed me a Zero Oil ambassador. Like, I didn't realize that he also had a surprise for me. I was the one thinking that I was going to be surprising him. But he had a surprise. It was like a hit right back, right? Like, you think he can get me? He made me an ambassador at the time. And long story short, when the payment to support these beneficiaries came, it supported them with 60 million naira. And I sit here in awe of how he just took ownership of anything that had to do with his mandate as the ED of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council.
Mr. Awolowo's support for me has been since day one when I met him at Ace Award. So I showed him this crochet bag that I made out of excitement, and instantly he connected. And he went, I have a sister that crochets and I would love to connect you with her. He was speaking of Madame Dolapo. And as at that time, to have a man of, his age picking genuine interest in handcraft to the point where he wants to see me get to the next level is personal. And not to even talk of Ace Awards, how winning it has taken my brand to the next level. I'm really grateful for him.
The support that I enjoyed from Mr. Olusegun Awolowo through the NEPC Export Expansion Grant to me as a Bellafricana member in 2022 marked a major milestone in my journey. It was the very first time I had access to that kind of finance, and it really helped me to scale my production of the production of my Adira making business. I recall that I bought production assets. I recall that I bought production assets, and it really helped me to create more products in such short time. It also built confidence in me that I was doing something correctly. And to be very honest, the Donnie that I was 3 years before now, that was in 2022 up until now, isn't what it is anymore. And I'm very grateful that that support came through.
Hello, I'm Mariam from Play by Marian. Mr. Olusegun Awolowo's support through the Bellafricana grant was a turning point for us. It allowed us to set up our first studio in Lagos. More importantly, it helped to move our work from being just an experiment into a full-blown business with structure, with leverage, and it gave us the room to grow. We're eternally grateful for the impact his support has had on our business.
As a proud Bellafricana member, Mr. Awolowo's support for Nigerian creative businesses has trickled down to us in so many ways, one of which has been the EFPP grant that I was privileged to be a beneficiary of under his leadership at NEPs. That not only changed the trajectory of my business, it gave me the confidence and the validation to continue to grow this business. As a result of that grant, we have since increased our manufacturing capacity, we have grown our visibility across the world, our product lines has increased, our team has increased, and we have experienced growth on every side. I'm super grateful for this support, and I do not take it for granted. I believe that through my business and a lot of other businesses and people that he has impacted, his legacy will continue to live on.
I remember when I started Bellafricana, anything that had to do with the government, I used to say that everything they would just be saying they have a mandate, they will never do. But Mr. Awolowo came and showed that it was not just about people, it was about him as a person.
My name is Bukola Bamiduro. In 2021, that was my first time interacting with Bellafricana, and Trash to Wealth was nominated for Best Eco-Friendly Product of the Year. While Mr. Awolowo was giving his speech, he said under that category he had his best person, he had his personal person, and he was rooting for someone. But being part of the judge, he did not, manipulate that category, and that showed that he was a man of integrity, because this grant actually came monetized, and that grant, we used it to train over 250 young people for the Global Recycling Day in 2022, and also we're able to buy more equipment for the organization.
He didn't only support through his leadership role, he also supported in time and heart with the money that is time.
I'll forever be grateful to Mr. Awolowo for giving me an export grant for my business Yasmin Crafts. It changed everything. Today, we are where we are because of him. Without that grant, it would have been difficult for me to scale up the business. And for that, I will remain forever grateful. Rest in peace, sir. Thank you for everything.
He was the definition of a true gentleman, an ambassador of Nigeria. I first came across him through programs at She Trades with the NEPC when he was the head of NEPC, and a lot of his work and focus was about giving back, putting Nigeria on the map, and giving us entrepreneurs a platform and the opportunity to really shine on a global stage. And he supported Abu at our first exhibition, actually, which we did about 9 months after we started our business. We found ourselves in Coterie in New York under the She Trades program, and the NEPC, under his stewardship, reimbursed some of our expenses that we incurred to be a part of that program. A couple of years later, Abu was also very fortunate to win a grant as part of the NEPC, from the NEPC through the Bellafricana platform. I was one of the few brands that won an award, and he graciously attended the event to honor the Bellafricana founder Buki and the rest of the brands.
After that 2021 edition, I just became more aware of the fact that even though sometimes it felt far, it was so close. Our newsletter is Mr. Awolowo has the highest open rates. I mean, you don't understand. Have you ever started to look at the highest open rates in your newsletter? If you're someone that sends email marketing a lot, just sit down and look for them. Those people, you must celebrate them. Mr. Awolowo is even higher than my dearly beloved. Shout out to my husband, Mr. Toby Ashide. Mr. Awolowo always wanted to know what Bellafricana was up to. He always opened it. He most likely always forwarded it to people just so that they are aware of what we are doing. And so 2021, we wanted to do more with Bellafricana, and my family, my young family, and I relocated back again to the UK. And we launched something that's called the African Lifestyle Experience, because our vision is to make sure that creative entrepreneurs get seen globally and get to sell directly to customers in the international market. So we launched in the UK and we've held our third edition. Mr. Awolowo's name has always been on our wall. The last time I spoke to him was in 2024. So last year, his newest essay at the time, shout out to Grace, walks to our event on Oxford Street in London, and we went to the wall, like we have a tiled wall that talks about our story, how we started in Nigeria, how many creatives we have, over 20,000, and everything else, so that whoever comes in would understand that there's excellence and there's craftsmanship of Africa. And I remember Praise walking into that space and he just pointed at the wall and he said, how do you know Mr. Olusegun Awolowo? And I remember telling him, Mr. Awolowo is my mentor. Of course, we put like everyone that has impacted the business or impacted the growth of Bellafricana on our wall. And right there and I said, please call him. I want to speak to him. I want to tell him how far we've come. I want to tell him how much the impact that he's made on us has now gone beyond the borders and the shores of Nigeria, and how now we are supporting thousands of creatives, not just from Nigeria anymore now, but from different parts of Africa. And I remember speaking to him and I told him, sir, this is just the beginning. Like, we're here on Oxford Street. So what we're doing, this is what we're doing. I was like, come home, I want to see you, I want to come visit you. And fast forward to when he passed, because I don't live in Nigeria anymore, but I come as often as possible. I remember the day he had passed, I had been keeping in touch through WhatsApp, just checking on him, just saying, hello sir, how are you doing? I hope you're well. But then I noticed that he had not been replying as often, Mr. Awolowo has always been a very, he would update you on Instagram. You would sure know what's going on, but I had noticed that the last time he had posted was like November, December 2024, and I used to be so worried, what's going on? How can I reach him? What's been happening? And all I used to get were updates from, people that were closest to him that, it's fine, things were happening, but he's better now. So I was just trusting God that he was well. But the day that he passed, I had come to Nigeria, impromptu, and I had reached out to his essay and I was like, I'm in town and I want to curate a gift for Mr. Awolowo, so I even want to see him. Is it possible to see him? And the message that came after was like a hit. And Praise was like, Vicky, I'm so sorry, Mr. Awolowo passed this morning. And when I received that message, I was in awe, because I was like, wait, he passed him. I had not gotten to see him now, I had not gotten to update him, I had not gotten to gist him. And so that morning, I was like, my tongue, I think I might hit my head. My mind was just racing in a million places. I I was just thinking about how I wished. I had so many lists of wishes. How I wished I checked on him a lot more. How I wish I called him a lot more as opposed to checking on his post or leaving a message on WhatsApp or asking everyone else around him but him how he was doing more often. How I wish I visited him a lot more nonetheless, and it just took me down memory lane of how he truly was very intentional. And I just went back to our mailing list to just go and see when last he opened our email. And the last time he had opened our email at the time was in October, which was like a month ago. So even through it all, through everything that life had thrown at him, he was still kept abreast of what was going on. And he was like a guardian father who was just watching his mentees and making sure that people are still doing things nonetheless. And that's the legacy that he leaves behind.
Okay. Time will not permit me to be able to fully share all the experiences and support that my brand Mudara received from Mr. Olusegun Awolowo, God rest his soul, while he was at NEPC and even when he moved on to after. I met Mr. Olusegun Awolowo personally circa 2017-2018, and ever since then, once he met Mudara, he gave us the full support of his office and even personally patronizing the brand, supporting us on a lot of foreign missions to give us exposure as a brand. And a very recent story I'd like to share was sometime in May this year. I just received a call from Mr. Awolowo asking where I was, and then going on to let me know that he has nominated Mudara as one of the Nigerian delegates on a trade mission to St. Kitts and Nevis. And that was really so touching. Like, we hadn't even been in touch for a while, but the fact that he would just have Mudara as at the back of his mind and at times like this. And when I got to Abuja was when I reached out to ask that I wanted to come to his office to personally say thank you, and that's when I found out that he wasn't feeling too well. My heart goes out to his family, to everyone who's dear to him. He was really a light, someone that made me believe in the Nigerian institution, or in a Nigerian institution that was really committed to their mission. He did drive the mission of NEPC while he was there. He truly, genuinely believed in giving opportunity and making it easy for Nigerian brands and Nigerian products to be exported to the foreign market. And I believe that he continued to drive this agenda even when he moved on to after. He's definitely going to be missed by me, and I know many other brands who have benefited from his immense support. May his soul continue to rest in peace, and may his family continue to enjoy the good legacy that he has put out there for them, and may God continue to comfort you all in Jesus' name. Thank you.
My name is Princess Adeyinka Tekena. I am the founder of Happy Coffee, an indigenous Nigerian coffee brand. My tribute to Mr. Awolowo is very simple but very genuine in the fact that I didn't have a lot of contact with him. I know that he's an integral part of the community that I belong to, that's Bellafricana community, because he supported us most, especially when he was MD at NEPC. But for me, I met him briefly, I think about 2 years ago at a female conference in Lagos. And when I approached him, obviously he was super approachable. Looking at the officer of his level, most time there's always air around them, but with him there was no air around him. He was willing, he stopped on his track, he listened to what I was doing, he took my product, he even took a picture with me, for memories, and he had promised that he was going to support, but I think he left office not long after that. But after his demise and everything that was said on social media everywhere, obviously it was the same thing. People knew he was very generous. People who were in contact with him were blessed by his person, his ingenuity, his love for Nigeria is what it was much more prevalent to me. He is the true definition of a Nigerian hero, a Nigerian son. Thank you for blessing us with your person. Thank you for blessing us with your truth. Thank you for uplifting Nigeria, for giving people like us who love this country without any recourse. Thank you for showing us that it is worth loving Nigeria. I bid you well in your journey over the afterlife, and comfort and to all of us who you have left behind, especially your family. Thank you, sir.
The fact that he loved, he didn't just love with his treasure, with his resources, he loved with his heart. His impact changed me as a person, because of how much he believed in Bellafricana. It's like I've been so committed to growing this industry beyond even my own generation, just making sure that it outlives us one way or the other. And I remember taking days to just cherish the memories, cherish the moments. And I just kept saying, how can I honor him? And that's why I'm making this documentary, to just put it online, like leave his mark online. Because that was who he was. He loved to document every single moment. He used to do things in the quiet. It wasn't like he wanted to be praised continuously, but this is the least that we can do. And I know that so many people who he's impacted will be part of this, to just buttress on how much what he's done through Bellafricana, or directly or indirectly, has made them who they are today. And today, I just sit here honoring him, thanking him. I'm so grateful for the impact that you made in not just my life, but the thousands of people connected to Bellafricana today and in the future. And the truth is that your light will continue to shine through us to them. And I am making you a promise that the mandate, what you saw in the creative economy will not die. We will continue to uphold the plans that you have for Nigeria, the future that you saw for Nigeria, for creatives in Nigeria, and as extension in Africa. We will continue to push, we'll continue to do by the special grace of God. And I hope that if you are opportune to watch this video, and if you have people who are dear to you, give them their flowers while they are alive. And even if they happen to pass, still give them their flowers. Celebrate them, honor them. But if they are alive, check on them. I've always been this person who never likes to stress people and just call on our way. I always like to ask for permission before calling. But guess what? Now I don't ask for permission, I just call. I used to think I was someone that was very intentional. If you know me, just go and check myself. I'm very intentional in the relationship that I have, but I'm scratching that off. I'm becoming double time, 100% more intentional with the people that God puts me in their path, or puts them in my path, as much as I can, for as long as I live and as long as Jesus tarries. So to Mr. Awolowo, shine on. Say hello to Bami Adefolu in heaven. And we will continue to have you on our wall. We will continue to celebrate you through all our platforms, through Tales, through anything else that we birth globally. Before we start or end anything, we will continue to celebrate you. Your name would always go anywhere that Bellafricana goes. Your children that you've left behind, I'm sure that they are very proud of who they are because of you. Your wife, I made sure that I was in Nigeria to be there for your tribute and listening to everyone who spoke so highly of you. It just goes to show that it's not in the number of years one lives, but in the impact and the seeds that is sown through the people that one touches. And I know that you'll probably be gisting with the angels right now. And your mom, for her to have birthed a king and a legend like you, I know that she will pull through this season. And I also pray for everyone who cared, who you shined your light through. And I pray that they have the comfort to not just celebrate the memories that you had with them, but also to continue what you started on earth. Because at the end of the day, this life is not our own, we're just spirits. And we're grateful to God because we know that we will be connected and back home with Him one day. So God bless you, sir. Thank you.